The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veterans Voices. We're going to have a good veteran story for you today. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And make sure you go to the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There is a couple ways you can help support us here. You can go to that website. There's a one-time donation link. You can also become a patron with a monthly donation. You can as well go to the merchandise tab. We got some cool merchandise out there. And if you have a business or you want to advertise something, you can do it right here on the podcast. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project. That is one amazing organization. I encourage everybody, go check them out. And if there's any way you can help them, please do so. That is tillvalhallaproject.com. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, here we are. I got Bob Smith with me. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir.
Awesome. Hey, I'm excited. I think this is going to be a good time. I think you'll enjoy yourself. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see, I suppose, huh?
I guess. Never done this before, so we'll find out.
First time for everything. Here we go. So, let's start at the beginning for you. Where did you grow up? What was that like? And then eventually, what drew you to military service?
Well, I grew up in the west end of Nebraska, out in the Nebraska Panhandle, about 15 miles north of the Colorado state line and 60 miles east of the Wyoming line. So
Oh, wow.
out in the middle of the boondocks.
Mm-hmm.
But my dad was a World War II veteran. He was a
Okay.
ball turret gunner on B-17s, and almost all of my family, one way or another, the men have all been in the military somewhere along the line.
Right.
Mostly Army Air Corps, and Navy.
Hmm.
But I graduated from high school in 1964,
Okay.
and my hometown didn't have a lot of offerings for kids graduating out of high school with a population of about 8 or 9,000. There was no growth in that town, and there still
Right.
isn't.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, well, Cabela's was there, and then they were bought out by, and it was going strong, but got bought out by Bass Pro Shops. So it's
Oh, right.
pretty much dried up as far as corporate offices. They're huge buildings and they're gone, but not a
Wow.
lot of industry in my hometown. So really not
Mm-hmm.
a lot of future unless you were a farmer or wanted to work the oil fields.
Right.
But I wanted to go in the military when I was a senior in high school. I had two good friends that were going to go in the Navy,
Mm-hmm.
and three that were going to go in the Marine Corps. And I wanted to go in the Marine Corps. And
Okay.
I was 17 when this would have occurred, and my father told me that it would be over his dead body that he would allow me to go in the Marine Corps. And since he had to sign for me, that pretty much ruled that out
Yeah.
because I wasn't 18 yet. So anyway, I decided, well, I'll go in the Navy with my other two buddies, and
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Very nice.
And when I was in boot camp, about a month into boot camp, I wound up at Balboa Naval Hospital. I passed out on the grinder from pneumonia,
Oh, wow.
and I got hauled to the hospital in Balboa by ambulance
Yeah.
and spent about a month in the hospital in Balboa recovering from pneumonia.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I see these guys running around the hospital in white uniforms,
Uh-huh.
passing out pills and sticking thermometers in people's mouths and working with really good looking nurses that smelled nice. And I
Yeah.
thought, this beats the heck out of, just this got to beat the heck out of normal ship life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to become a corpsman.
Okay.
So when we went back to boot camp, When I went back
Hmm.
to boot camp, there's a certain day comes around and you go in and you sit down and you tell them your three things you'd like to do while you're in the Navy.
Okay.
So my first thing was Navy corpsman. And he said, okay, fine. Next. And I said, what about my other two choices? He goes, oh, they'll take you in a minute. He said, he said, they need corpsmen. He said, you'll get that right off. I said, seriously? Anyway, I was out of there,
Wow.
had one choice. Well, unbeknownst to me, Vietnam was was building up. So
Yeah.
that's why they said they're going to need corpsmen. And he didn't
Hmm.
question, didn't even ask what the other two possibilities that I wanted to do in the
Right.
Navy. So I wound up at Balboa Naval Hospital in Corps School.
Oh, wow. And that's where it was at Balboa, huh?
Yeah,
Wow.
and graduated from hospital Corps School and got assigned to the hospital in Memphis, Tennessee, along with two of my other classmates from Corps School.
Oh, okay.
And while we were in Memphis, Tennessee, we decided we would rather be with the Marines than, than with the Navy.
Yeah.
And having the last week or 2 weeks of hospital Corps School, you're learning how to drag stretchers uphill with bodies on them and stuff like that, people on them that are injured.
Right.
You're playing war games, basically.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, we wound up going to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina to Montford Point
Hmm.
and went through FMF school there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we graduated from FMF school, and along with 165 other Navy hospital corpsmen that graduated from that Corps school, we were
Wow.
on a flight across the U.S. to Travis Air Force Base to catch another aircraft headed to Vietnam.
Holy cow. Well, let's backtrack just for a second, if you don't mind. So,
Mhm.
tell me a little bit. I mean, I know you got pneumonia and everything, but tell me a little bit about your boot camp experience. Maybe some of the good and some of the bad that you remember.
Um, I don't know that I really had any bad experiences.
Okay.
The only negative thing that ever happened while I was in boot camp, as far as discipline or anything, there were
Hmm.
four Smiths in my company in boot camp,
Okay.
and I got blamed for one of the other guys doing something. So I had to do PT till I basically passed out.
Right.
But that was it. The rest of the
Oh,
time,
man.
I thought it was pretty hilarious, as far as, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Having
Right.
to wash my own clothes, having to iron my own clothes, having to do all that crap.
Yeah.
That was something unique to me, or new to me, because my mother did that my entire life.
Right. Yeah.
So other than
Yeah.
that, boot camp wasn't, and getting pneumonia, it just pretty much wasn't a really bad experience.
Okay. So now tell me a little bit about the hospital course corpsman school that was at Balboa. Can you talk to that?
It's a 12-week, 16-week course, and it covers anatomy, physiology. Um, you learn how to stick a needle in somebody. You learn how to take your
Hmm.
own blood. I mean, you practice on yourself sometimes, that type thing.
Hmm.
It was really, really interesting. Um,
Okay.
I really enjoyed the school as far as anatomy was concerned, and
Hmm.
and physiology. That thing, how the human, what comprises the human body and how it's made up,
Right.
and it's pretty interesting. But there's chemistry involved,
Hmm.
some pharmacology involved, mixing cough syrups and lotions and stuff like that was
Right.
lightly touched on.
Okay.
But everybody pretty much had that same basic experience. Um,
Right.
it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't until the last week or two that we wound up playing on the hill in the backside of the school, carrying litters up and down the hillside with guys on them. But
Yeah.
we we just learned how to keep somebody alive,
Right.
and
Yeah,
it
that's
was really
awesome.
real. But most of it, was geared towards hospital life,
Right.
not towards being out in the environment with the grunts.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was, being really interested in anatomy myself, and these other two guys that I wound up going to Memphis with. we
Uh-huh.
became we became good friends in Corps school. we would go down at lunchtime and buy a hamburger, French fries, and a drink, and
Yeah.
we'd go sit in the gallery and watch them do autopsies.
No kidding.
Yep.
Wow.
It was like watching somebody dissect a frog, except it was a human.
Wow. That's
It,
wild.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. Pretty
Mm,
amazing.
wow. And that you just had your hamburger and fries and you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
chilling out watching it. That's
yeah.
cool.
Sit there and watch
Wow.
them do autopsies.
Wow. Holy cow. Now, what did they send you to Memphis for? What were you doing there?
Just duty station. That was my first duty station after corps school.
I got you. And now, did you enjoy being there? Was it good?
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When you first get there, you work shifts on all of the different wards,
Mm.
like geriatric ward with elder
Mm-hmm.
military guys and women, pediatrics, newborn nursery,
Wow.
surgical wards, uh, orthopedic ward. You worked all of the different aspects of the hospital, emergency room, the whole suit match,
Mm-hmm.
and you went through basically about a month-long training on everything that the hospital did and where they
Wow.
did it. And then they would assign you to a duty station within the hospital, like a different,
Mm-hmm.
like in my case, I was with the ward of the, oh my gosh, um, the ward, oh my God, I can't even think of the word right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Orthopedic ward.
Oh,
Work,
orthopedic. Yeah.
yeah, working with guys with casts and broken legs. We
Yeah.
had we had one gentleman on there that was in a full body cast.
Wow.
He was working the flight line at the Memphis Air Station,
Uh-huh.
and cadets from Pensacola were coming up there and flying in with T-28s, practicing touch and goes, and
Uh-huh.
they had carrier arrest gear. This guy was in the shed with the carrier arrest gear, and the cable snapped and
Oh,
basically wrapped itself around that house that he was in running the equipment,
yeah.
and it crushed him.
Wow.
And there was very few bones in his body that weren't broken. And he was laying there in a body cast, and he was there for several months.
Wow. Now he was able to get out of that and be able to like walk and do everything again, or
Yeah, he had to learn all of that all over again. I mean,
yeah.
he was flat on his back in his plastered body for months.
Man, that's
He
got to be
could, yeah,
horrible.
he'd get an itch, he couldn't scratch it. You
Yeah.
know, he was not a happy person by the time I got there. He had been there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was
Well,
tough to deal with.
man, yeah, that's got to be rough though. I mean, a
Yeah,
full body cast, that'd be tough.
yeah.
What else did you experience while you were there in Memphis? Because you said while you were there is when you decided you wanted to go to be with the Marines. So how did that work out?
Well, they were sending a lot of the corpsmen that were married to
Hmm.
FMF school, and
Okay.
myself and my two buddies were single, and
Yeah.
we kept saying, "Hey, send us. We'll take it. We want to go. We want to do
Yeah.
it." And every set of orders that came in, it wound up some married guy got shipped out.
Hmm.
We finally went down, and myself and the other two guys sat down with the chief that was in charge of personnel.
Hmm.
And I said, we asked him, he said, when these orders come in and they ship these guys out, are the orders specifically cut with that guy's name on them? And he said, no, they're random orders. He said, they just higher ups here just select who goes. I said, how do we get on the list? And he
Yeah.
said, we can work something out and see what happens. Well, next thing I know, the three of us are on our way to North Carolina. We got the next set of orders that came in.
Holy cow. Nice.
Yeah.
So
And we
you all
wound
got to
up,
go together, which is good.
yeah. So we all wound up going to Vietnam, or
Yeah.
corps school, or FMF school at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and spent 12 weeks there. 12 or 16 weeks. I can't, corps school was 16, and I can't remember if Core school may, or FMF school may have only been 12 weeks.
Okay.
But
Can you
you wind up
talk a little
getting,
bit about that?
yeah, you get there and you're assigned, you're put into a platoon, and it's like going through Marine boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not quite as difficult, I don't imagine. Having seen Marine boot camp and comparing to what we did, it was
Yeah.
not quite as difficult. But you got green uniforms, boots,
Right.
steel pot, M14, backpack, and you learned how to play grunt,
Yeah.
how to be a Marine in the Marine Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of in the morning it was classes, PT and classes. A lot of
Okay.
afternoons were actual in the field training,
Okay.
how to crawl through live fire,
Mm-hmm.
um, how to dig a foxhole,
Okay.
that type of thing. How to keep your head down when the shooting is going on.
Mm-hmm.
How to work on somebody while the shooting is going on if that somebody's been wounded.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
how to drag them, keeping you and him as safe as you can keep them. Things like
Mm-hmm.
that. Just
Yeah.
how to survive in a combat environment.
Right. Yeah. Wow. And now, would you say that was pretty difficult, like in comparison to like boot camp and going to the core school in Balboa?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
A lot more physical. I mean, pretty much every morning we did a 5 mile run to even
Oh,
start the
wow.
day off.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of physical build up to it. It's,
Mm-hmm.
in my case, I was like 5'9", 125 pounds. So
Oh my
dragging a
gosh.
guy that's 6'3" and 260, that's a real chore. But it
Yeah,
can be
it
done.
is.
You learn how to do it.
Yeah. Holy cow. Oh man. Now, you and your two buddies, y'all stayed throughout the whole class together? Like
Yes,
nothing happened? Yeah.
yep.
Very nice.
We were in the same platoon, graduated at the same time, and we all went aboard the plane and flew to Travis Air Force Base. We left San Francisco out of Travis and flew to Okinawa, and
Mm-hmm.
from Okinawa into Vietnam.
Okay. Now, had you flown much before then?
As far as commercial
Just
flights,
yeah, commercial flights and stuff.
the very first commercial flight that I ever took was from Denver to boot camp in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
That was
Okay.
the very first time on an airplane of any kind,
Yeah.
as far as a commercial airplane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now that because that flight going to Okinawa and then over to Vietnam, that's pretty long flights.
It is. It is. We left San Francisco. I remember we went up over Alaska and
Mm-hmm.
dropped down into Japan,
Okay.
um,
Wow.
and landed going that way. I did one flight later on that went from the U.S. to uh, Hawaii, and from
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii on to Okinawa.
Okay. Yeah. Is it about the same distance, or same
Yeah,
timeline?
about the same amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Now, as you were, you're leaving, you're going over to Vietnam. Like, what's going through your mind as you're preparing to do this?
You know how songs bring back memories?
Yeah.
Well, Simon and Garfunkel um, came out with a song in the start of 1966,
Okay.
and yeah, I've never forgotten about. Every time I hear that song, I can see myself and my two buddies sitting having a beer in North Carolina, and we were sitting in a
Really
bar. Yeah, oh, we were so sick, headed homesick. Yeah, Homeward Bound by Simon and Garfunkel,
interesting.
and we were just leaving.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it was, that was actually, looking in retrospect, is really pretty funny.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We were 18, 19 years old,
Oh, wow.
and it was pretty freaking funny.
Yeah, and so 18 and 19, and you're going straight over to going into combat,
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it takes a special person to be able to do that. And then it takes an even more special person to be a corpsman, in my opinion.
No.
So,
I could not believe the first time I got shot at. I mean, I'm carrying a medical supply bag
Yeah.
and a 45, and boy, you talk about feeling helpless on a field in terms of gunfighting.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Holy cow. Well, so talk to me about once you fly into Vietnam, like where did you get assigned? Where did you go? And let's dive into that a little bit if you don't mind.
Well, we flew into Da Nang
Okay.
from Okinawa,
Mm-hmm.
and went through processing in a hangar, a huge hangar at the airfield at Da Nang, and wound up. That's where everybody got assigned to wherever they were going, and I got assigned to Fox 27, and my other two buddies got assigned to two different battalions. So we all
Okay.
three wound up in separate battalions.
Oh wow. All right.
But
So obviously in different areas within Vietnam at that point, then all three of
yeah,
you, yeah.
yeah, I was originally initially assigned to Fox Company 27,
Mm-hmm.
and we were at Chu Lai.
Okay.
So all of our operations were out of the Chu Lai area or Quang Ngai, south of Chu Lai.
Right. Now and now showing up to the unit, being a corpsman, what was that like walking into that? And because you're just now getting to the fleet, if you want to call it that, but it's
Yeah.
during combat. So what was that like for you?
When I first got to Vietnam, I remember walking off the plane and looking around, and I could not believe how lush, green, and beautiful that country was. And I couldn't believe there
Yeah.
was a war. I couldn't believe there was a war going on there
Hmm.
because it was absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um, to this day, I still think it's one of the prettiest places I've ever been.
Hmm.
It just has harbors a lot of bad memories, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I saw beaches over there that were just pristine beaches,
Really?
absolutely
Wow.
gorgeous, gorgeous. But when I got assigned to 27,
Mm-hmm.
that was my first venture into that kind of heat,
Yeah.
and I mean, it was. There were days you could have cut the air with a chainsaw that was so heavy because of the
I believe it.
humidity. It was horrible. But
Yeah.
anyway, we did 3 or 4 days of conditioning hikes, and then we got the call to go in. We were going out on a search and destroy mission, which was
Okay.
my first time into actual combat. And so it was about 3 or 4 days there, and we did a lot of hiking with gear on and whatnot to get acclimated to the heat.
Mm-hmm.
You eat a lot of salt pills, you drink a lot of water,
Yeah.
and that was about
Hmm.
it as far as getting there and the conditioning and going into it.
Yeah.
The first time you're dropped into an LZ from a helicopter, that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
That's that's the real deal. And you're coming into the LZ and you're going, oh my God, I can't believe this. There's tracers flying everywhere.
Wow. Now, was that
Yep.
was that your first mission? Was doing that?
Yes.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah. I'd been in Vietnam 4 days when we dropped into an LZ and came under heavy fire going into the LZ.
Holy cow. Man, what a welcome aboard.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Holy
Well,
cow.
welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was pretty interesting. We had a staff sergeant, and I remember I was laying behind this rice paddy, the
Yeah.
dike on this rice paddy. It was a dry rice paddy, and I was laying behind this rice paddy, and they were hollering, third platoon, let's move. And these guys were jumping up and assaulting, and I remember laying behind that rice paddy dike, going, "Holy mackerel!" You know, mackerel wasn't exactly the word I used then, but
Yeah.
I'm going, how did these guys do this? And
Yeah.
I remember the staff sergeant came up and he nudged me in the butt with his boot, and he said,
Yeah.
"Doc," he said, "if you're going to die," he said, "you're going to either die right here where you're laying, or you're going to die out there in front of you somewhere." But he said, "You need to get the hell up and start moving."
Yeah.
And I got up and went
Wow.
with him. And when it was all over with, I'm sitting there going, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this."
Yeah. So I mean, you're
It's
basically assaulting with them, but
Yes,
you just got your sidearm.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you'll be down laying behind a rice paddy dyke and all the shooting's going on, and somebody will get hit, and the first thing you hear is corpsman up,
Yeah.
and you don't hesitate because that's their job is when they hit the ground, they're shooting and going. Your
Mm-hmm.
job doesn't really start until somebody gets shot,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and
It's a
that's
good
when
point.
they're ducked down firing, and you're up running towards wherever the call came for a corpsman up.
Right. Now, do you
And
remember the first time that you heard Corman? Like
oh yeah.
Corman up? You do?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know that anybody would ever forget that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran
Yeah.
about 35 or 40 yards
Yeah.
being shot at the entire time, and
Oh, jeez.
dove into this rice paddy next to two guys that were trying to stop the bleeding on another Marine.
Oh, wow.
And I got into the rice paddy, and he had a shoulder wound.
Uh-huh.
Um, Pretty much that was my first combat um, casualty that I dealt with.
Right.
And
Wow.
like I said, I was getting shot at the entire way to that deal. Why you get out of the firefights, and you're going, because you can tell how close a round comes, you can hear it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and there's a difference in the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
And and you get up, when everybody's done and the shooting's over with, you're sitting there going, "Oh my God, how does anybody survive this?" And
Yeah.
this was my first day in combat, and I got another year, another 13 months of this to go.
Wow. And
So
how long had the guys that were on the patrol with you, like how long had they been there?
some of them quite a while,
Yeah.
some just a short period of time, because they were constantly getting troops in and out,
Yeah.
constantly. And the big joke at the time was if you survived the first 90 days, you were good at least until the last 30 days.
Really?
Yeah. The first 90 days, you're trying to figure out how this works and how you stay alive doing it as best you
Yeah.
can. And the last 30 days, you try not to think about going home,
Yeah.
because you haven't got time to think about that crap because you're still in combat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
And if you
thinking
did
about that's
dwell
what
on
gets
it,
guys killed. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, if you did dwell on it, one, it would take forever, and then it also takes your mind off the mission. So,
Yeah. Most
yeah.
most of the guys that I know that were wounded or killed
Mm-hmm.
in Vietnam were wounded or killed within their first 90 days in country,
Mm-hmm.
and the last 30 days.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
After that, after the first 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
we still lost casualties, but the newer guys were the ones who got taken out the first 90 days they were there. And
Yeah.
the older guys knew what to do, and how to move and how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Interesting.
how to survive it.
Yeah. So your first combat mission, when you go out, you have your first casualty. How long was that mission while you were out there? Because you said it was a search and destroy mission.
Yeah, we were out there for 3 days. That
Okay.
that first mission,
Mm-hmm.
I think we had three people wounded, nobody killed, but we had three
Okay.
people wounded in that first initial assault firefight. And
Mm-hmm.
so then you call in the medevacs, the helicopters come in, you load the casualties on, and they're up and gone.
Right.
Um, the
Did it
first,
did it that first combat mission, did it feel like a blur to you?
it does. It even feels like a
Yeah.
blur now.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, yeah. When I think back of it now, and that firefight lasted about 3.5, 4 hours, and it
Wow.
was, it seemed when it was over with, it seemed like it was about 30 seconds.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
I could see
because
that though.
time just flies. The time you
Yeah.
lose track of time.
Mm-hmm. Holy cow.
So.
Wow. Now, now after that first mission, you come back, at that point, does it just become routine? Like how often were you going out on mission, staying back, whatever the case is?
Well, we operated out of Chulai, and we were,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it would be west of the airfield at Chulai, up on the foothills.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we were back in camp, back at the base at our base camp, we had a self-propelled artillery piece up there, and it fired at night Started at about 11 o'clock at night and fired till about 6 o'clock the next morning.
Wow.
Um, so you had that noise constantly, and
Yeah.
yet, and you had the trench line around your hill and the
Uh-huh.
concertina wire and whatnot. So you ran patrols off the hill, basically listening posts
Mm-hmm.
and patrols off the hill, just listening for anybody coming into the wire, trying to get to the top of the hill.
Right.
But you run night ambushes and you run little ops at night out of the base camp.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as being out in the out in the jungle type thing, or out in the surrounding terrain, it all
Mm-hmm.
depended on intelligence and what was going on there.
Yeah.
If
Now,
they heard about movement, they would mount a battalion sized operation or a company sized
right.
operation, that type of thing. Yeah.
Now, how often do you think you were out doing missions and things of that nature? Was it like every couple of days?
Um, Generally, it was we were out of there on a weekly basis.
Okay.
At least once a week we got a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it was company size, sometimes it was battalion size.
Right.
Um, I was on several operations where there was more than one battalion involved.
Oh, wow.
So, they'd get word that they had a large concentration of Viet Cong in a certain area, or North Vietnamese in a certain area,
Mm-hmm.
and they would drop in Marines on three sides and ARVNs on one side, and
Hmm.
we'd all work towards the middle,
Yeah.
shooting and killing anything and everything that moved in front of you.
Mm-hmm. Holy cow. Now, what were some of the, I guess, I mean, minus your first mission, what were some of the things throughout your time in Vietnam kind of that um, was impactful for you?
Um, well, the first time ever getting shot at was really, really impacted me. Because my
Yeah.
first thought was, I don't even know that guy. Why is he shooting at me? You know,
Yeah.
what the hell is this all about? Just
Right.
crazy thing, just crazy things. Um, the first Marine that I ever saw killed,
Mm.
that probably stuck with me harder than anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's a vision you never lose.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Hmm.
but that's you reach a point where you've got a job to do, and there's nothing personal about it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
friendship involved. There's no,
Yeah.
you're just, you've got a guy laying there in front of you that's been shot or blown up or booby trapped, went off and got his
Mm.
legs, that type of thing. And you work on them. You do what you need to do to save their lives and get a medevac in to get them out of there.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but I was, I was with 2-7 for February to September, and
Okay.
I got out wounded on Operation Prairie One up on the DMZ by the rock pile
Oh, wow.
and got
Well,
medevac.
if you don't mind, you would talk about that a little bit.
A lot of heavy jungle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the day that I got wounded, we went into an area that supposedly there was heavy concentration of Viet Cong
Mm-hmm.
and or North Vietnamese. Anyway, we went into this area and we discovered a huge base camp. Still had, food cooking on utensils, campfires going,
No kidding.
um,
Wow.
bunkers, ammunition, and basically we walked in,
Come here, cat.
on this deal, and it was up on the side of a mountain up out there in a dense
Mm-hmm.
jungle. But anyway, we walked in, found all of this stuff, wound up blowing it all up, and then we walked back out the same way we came in, which is something you don't do.
Oh,
Why it
yeah.
was why it was done, I have no idea. But when we walked back out of there, pretty much all hell erupted.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's when I got wounded and medevaced out.
Yeah. Now I'm assuming you got shot. Is that what happened there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Wow. Now, was there like corpsman goes down, who's helping the corpsman type of thing?
Well, it was really kind of funny because I kind of know when I got shot,
Mm-hmm.
but there was so much gunfire going on. I'm not positive,
Oh, wow.
but I was headed to help. They hollered corpsman up, and there was a Marine down the hill from me that
Yeah.
had tripped a booby trap, and
Mm-hmm.
there were other Marines around him. So I went running down there, and I'm working on him. And one of the other Marines said, "Hey, Doc, you've been hit." And I
Oh,
said, "No, I
wow.
haven't." He said, "Yeah, you have." He said, Look at your left leg." And I looked at my left pant leg, and it was a lot of blood. And I went,
Yeah.
what the hell was this? And sure enough, I'd been shot.
So you didn't even realize it. Your
No,
adrenaline's going so
your
much.
your adrenaline's going so crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Fortunately, it didn't hit anything. It was a flesh wound.
Yeah. Just kind of
It
in and
didn't.
out type of deal.
Yeah. Anyway, I got medevaced out.
Mm-hmm.
Got medevaced to Okinawa, Clark Air
Oh,
Force
wow.
Base, and then from Clark Air Force Base to Okinawa. And
Okay.
that was after getting to, well, initially I was medevaced out to the repos, the USS repos,
Okay.
and went from there to Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines, and then Cooey Army Hospital in Okinawa.
Oh, wow. Now, how long were you in the hospital?
I was in the hospital a total of about a month
Okay.
and 3 weeks to a month, and then I was on medical or on outpatient status, so they assigned me to Camp Hansen
Mm-hmm.
in Okinawa. So I wound up at Camp Hansen at the dispensary there, and I wound
Mm-hmm.
up uh, working the shot line, giving shots to Marines going into Vietnam for the first time and coming out of Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
We did a
Okay.
flight in, we did a flight out in the morning and a flight in the afternoon.
Now, how many going out and how many coming in? What was the numbers like?
Generally 150 to 175 at a time.
No kidding. And that
Yeah,
was daily.
yeah, pretty much
Wow.
daily. Yep, yep.
That's wild. Hmm. And how long did you do that?
Uh, about 3 months.
Okay.
And when I got off medical hold, I thought I was going to be going back to the States.
Yeah.
And I got orders back to Vietnam, only this time they gave me a choice. I could walk or fly. And I figured, what the heck? I walked the first time, I'll fly this time. So they they assigned me to HMM 361, which is a UH-34 helicopter squadron
Yeah.
that was in Okinawa for retraining and regrouping.
Okay.
And so I got assigned to them, and I went back in country with them.
And I mean, obviously you've never been in helicopters at that point.
Nope, nope.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I wound up with HMM 361, and I was with them for about a month in Da Nang, at
Mm-hmm.
Marble Mountain, south of Da Nang, out on the beach.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was with them about a month, and they had a corpsman killed at Fubai. So I got sent up there, and I was with HMM 163 up there, and I was with them until I rotated back to the States.
Wow. Now obviously two different types of atmospheres, if you will. You got the ground pounders and you got the air wingers. Like what was the difference for you, especially as a corpsman?
Air Wing was a lot more relaxed in terms of
Mm-hmm.
military,
Yeah.
but just as dedicated. I I
Mm-hmm.
flew I flew with some pilots who were just freaking amazing, absolutely
Like.
amazing. And one of them, I started to look for a couple of them because
Mm-hmm.
I got pretty friendly with a lieutenant and a captain that I
Mm-hmm.
flew a lot of my missions with. And the lieutenant, I just found out this year that he passed away last summer.
Oh, wow.
But I, had been in touch, trying to get in touch with his family, and then
Mm-hmm.
discovered that he had passed away. And then
Wow.
the other guy was a captain, and he's in a. Um, I couldn't find him. I went looking on Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find him, but I could remember the first time we were together after they came back from Vietnam, I had already gotten out of the military and was going to college in Southern California.
Right.
And I was living in Santa Ana, and they were stationed at Santa Ana Air Station, which is by El
Oh
Toro.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was working in a liquor store part time and going to college. And Lieutenant McIlvaine came in, and I went, "Oh my God!" So big old reunion. Well, he said, "Hey,
Yeah.
Joe's here. Joe Gray's here. We'll get together and have barbecue." So we all got together and had a barbecue over at Gray's house. He had a daughter that was brand new,
Uh-huh.
and I just remembered her first name.
Right.
It was a name that was not unique. Or I mean, it was a name that was very, very unique that I had never heard before.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I went to look for him online, I
Uh-huh.
couldn't find it because there's a lot of Joes and there's a lot of Grays in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
That's
couldn't
true.
find him. And so one evening I was sitting having a glass of bourbon. And I went, I wonder if she's online. So I typed her name in,
Uh-huh.
and I'll be darned if it didn't pop up only married. It had
Okay.
it, and it found her. And I've been in touch with
Wow.
her and talked to her. And her dad is alive. He's in a assisted living facility, and he's got Parkinson's.
Oh wow. Okay. And
But
where is that close to where you are or
no, I'm in Oklahoma, and I believe that Joe Gray is in Georgia or
okay.
Alabama. One of the I can't remember what she told me, Georgia or Alabama.
Okay. Now have you been in contact with him, like talked to him and
No,
stuff
I
or
have not.
no,
No,
not
I've
yet?
not been in touch with him yet. No,
Okay.
this has all come
Wow.
about. This has all come about recently.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what a small world.
Yeah,
Like that you can remember her name and
yeah,
whoop, there she is.
yeah. It popped up, and I sent her a message on Messenger, and I got a response back, and I'm going, "Oh my God, check this out." Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it worked.
Wow. Well,
So,
tell me a little bit about like going back. You're now attached to the air wing. What were your missions like from that standpoint? Were you going and picking up wounded, flying them out, type of thing?
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yep, flying medevacs, and pretty much medevacs were the crappiest flying you could get because
Yeah.
you were going into most of the time a hot location that was under fire,
Mm-hmm.
and the Viet Cong or the North Vietnamese, once they could hear the helicopter coming, all the shooting stopped. So you'd call down and say, yeah, there's no firing going on. And the pilot instinctively would say, well, if we were to take fire, what direction do you think it would come from? And we would go in, and sure enough, boy, that part of the world would just light up.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they purposely stopped shooting to try and get the helicopter in, like draw
Yes.
it in. Yeah.
Yeah. The,
That's pretty smart.
the squadron HMM 163, we wound up setting up one helicopter primarily for medevac. It was
Mm-hmm.
gutted. It had just the bare necessities on it because to conserve weight, so we could get
Right.
people on it and not have aircraft stuff. Um, Moved the auxiliary power unit. They moved it back over or I mean, they moved the gunner seat back over the auxiliary power unit. And
Hmm.
so instead of being in the first window on the left side of the aircraft,
Mm-hmm.
he was in the second window.
Interesting. Okay.
And then that freed up a lot of floor space.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took all of the unnecessary stuff out of the aircraft that wasn't needed for everyday flight on a regular basis and lightened
Mm-hmm.
it up as much as possible. And we could get more people on it when we go into an LZ.
Yeah.
But that aircraft wound up recording somewhere around 1,200 direct hits.
Holy cow.
Yeah, there's pictures. There are pictures on the internet of HMM 163 with
Uh,
YP9, which YP9 Yankee Papa 9 was the nose number on the bird. And
oh
you look
wow.
at
Okay.
pictures of that bird, and it looks like it's got all these little light colored olive drab spots all over it, and those are all bullet holes. And somewhere around 1,200 rounds went through that at one point in time.
Oh my gosh. That's wild. Absolutely wild. Now, what were the other helicopters? Were the other helicopters like doing security type of thing for them, or how
Um,
did that work?
Most of the security helicopters were Hueys, and
Okay.
Huey gunships. Um, and then later on, they got the Cobras. So
Mm-hmm.
we had the Huey gunships armed with rocket pods and two gunners
Mm-hmm.
for air cover. And then
Very nice.
we wound up getting the Cobras in, which were amazing to watch those guys in operation.
Yeah.
They could light up the countryside like nobody's business. It was amazing. But
Yeah.
the rest of most of the helicopters that I flew in, um, the squadron flew, or that our squadron flew, they used for troop movement and resupply.
Gotcha. Okay.
There were other aircraft that were used for medevacs when it was necessary, but
Mm-hmm.
we primarily had one aircraft designated for medevacs.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really
So
cool. Now, what were some of the highlights, if you will, highlights and lowlights maybe of your time with the Air Wing?
there were three Smiths in my squadron.
Mm-hmm.
A crew chief named Smith, myself, a corpsman, and a gunner named Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And we were affectionately referred to in the squadron as the original magnet asses.
Okay.
We could go into an LZ that hadn't seen gunfire in 5 years and get shot up. And it was not an uncommon occurrence. And the one pilot I was telling you about, Lieutenant McElvey, he was a lieutenant at the time.
Yeah.
His first maiden flight in combat
Uh-huh.
was a medevac, and he's flying the left seat of the bird. We had a major. I cannot remember his full name, but his nickname was Moose. He was a big guy.
Okay.
Anyway, he was the aircraft commander, and I was the corpsman on the cruise. And both Smiths were in the bird. One as a
Uh-huh.
crew chief, one as a gunner. And we went to an LZ north of Weifubai, out on the ocean, that had not had combat in about 25 years, and picked up a dead ARVN soldier that had died of old age.
Wow.
And my job when we loaded up somebody on the bird was to open up the body bag and make certain that they were dead. And so anyway, I had just unzipped the body bag, checked it out, and we're lifting out. And I just zipped the body bag back up. Smitty, the crew chief, was leaned over the gun mount with his arms crossed like this and the M60 underneath his arms.
Uh-huh.
And I was standing up with my left shoulder and my left arm up on a stretcher and smoking a cigarette. And we saw these two guys run out of this little grass hut. And we're at about 1,500 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Anyway, all of a sudden there's this loud bang, and I dropped down and I looked to the aft end of the helicopter
Yeah.
because it sounded like somebody threw a bowling ball through that bird. I had no idea what hit us, but it was loud and it sounded huge.
Yeah.
Well, we're on our way back to the uh, LZ, or back to the Fubai, and we're losing hydraulic fluid. It's leaking all over the inside of the helicopter. And as we started our descent, the back end of the helicopter is giving it this number, wiggling. We get
Uh-oh.
back, shut it down right on the end of the runway, got everybody out. They came out and picked us up, took us back to the ready room. They drug the helicopter back over there. And when they got the helicopter back to the flight line, I went out to get my stuff off of it to put it in the next bird that we were using. And did that, was back in the ready room, sitting there on a chair in a ready room, waiting for the next call.
Mm-hmm.
And the crew chief, Smitty, came in and he goes, "Hey, Doc, I want to show you something. Come on out." So I went out to the
Mm-hmm.
bird. He said, "Stand up where you were standing." I said, "Okay." He said, "Look immediately up to your left." And I looked up, and the bullet hole was right up next to my head, which is why that thing was so loud. And
Wow.
he had run a piece of wire from that hole based on the angle that the bullet went into the metal
Yeah.
down, and he was leaned over his gun like this. And that round went up under his gun and between his head and his shoulder up this way. past his right ear, and it went
Wow.
into the bulkhead right next to my head in the ceiling. It it hit the supports for the rotor head,
Uh-huh.
ricocheted off of that, and went through the hydraulic system. And
Okay.
the bullets stopped in the netting, the soundproofing material that's in military birds,
Uh-huh.
right behind the co-pilot's seat. And
Wow.
they recovered that bullet.
Holy cow.
And it was about an inch away from going through the back of McIlvaine's head.
I mean, how many golly. I mean,
Yeah,
one it missed the guy leaning over, missed you. It
yeah,
hit the hydraulics, but didn't knock it completely out. You were able to
right.
get back.
Yeah,
And then, I mean, good grief, how many things off one bullet?
yeah. And I mean, it missed two of us. It missed three people in that helicopter by
Yeah.
inches, by inches.
Wow. Somebody was watching out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow. Man.
Exactly. But that was McIlvaine's introduction to combat. And I flew a lot of missions with him.
Uh-huh.
And that guy, he and another guy by the name of Joe Gray, Captain Joe Gray,
Hmm.
I literally had flown through the gates of hell with those two guys
Yeah.
and survived it. They're amazing. They were amazing pilots. Absolutely amazing.
Wow. Man. Now, how many missions would you say you flew while you were there?
I flew 8 air medals, 160 missions.
Wow. And you said that's 8 air medals?
Yeah, you get 20 missions in air medal.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that. That's something new. Hey, learn
Yeah,
something new every day.
yeah.
Wow. That's
Well,
incredible.
to 160.
Dang. Now, your last 30 days before you shipped out to
Mhm.
come back home, that's what you were saying. Those last 30 days is rough. So how was that for you?
Um, we were from Fubai, the squadron got assigned to the USS Okinawa. Or I mean, the
Okay.
US, was it Okinawa? Yeah, the Okinawa. And
Mm-hmm.
we were on board that ship. It was a helicopter aircraft carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And we were on board that ship for 30 days while they were getting, at that time they called it Base X, ready for us. It was a new airstrip we were going to, and
Oh, I
nobody was
see.
for sure where it was. Well, Dong Ha was right up on the DMZ, and we
Mm-hmm.
used to fly out of Dong Ha and rotate in and
Mm-hmm.
out of Dong Ha. Well, they were rocketing and artillery hitting our Dong Ha
Mm-hmm.
regularly. So they built a base about a half a mile outside of artillery and rocket range from the DMZ, and it was at
Oh,
Quang. It
yeah.
was at Quang Tri, and we were the first
Interesting.
squadron aboard Quang Tri.
Wow. Huh.
And the last 30 days of flying in country, um, you either got shot at, shot up, or shot down. It was really pretty hairy flying for 30 days. My last 30 days there,
Yeah.
and I had put it in my head that I am no matter what, I'm going to continue doing what I was doing
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I did, and that's what so far hadn't killed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I decided that that's what I was going to do, and I spent the last 30 days flying just like it was any other 30 days.
Yeah. Wow. And then at that point, you're where did they send you back to in the States? How did that work
Um,
out?
I came back from there and went to Long Beach Naval Station,
Okay.
and kept telling them I'm back here with less than 90 days to go in country, and at that time they had an early out, or 90 days left to go in the military.
Hmm.
And rather than reassign you to another duty station, they would just cut you loose and give you
Oh,
an
wow.
early exit.
Hmm.
Well, I got sent to the Long Beach Naval Station. I'm going, this isn't working. That's not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be going to another hospital. I'm supposed to be getting out.
Yeah.
Anyway, it turns out that the chief of nursing staff there was the same chief of nursing staff that I had in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to her office and sat down and had coffee with her, Lieutenant, at that time, it was Commander Smoker. And I sat down with her and talked for I don't know, God, I don't know how long, and told her what the deal was. And she got on the
Mm-hmm.
phone and called, she got on the phone and called personnel.
Oh,
And she said, do you know anything about this? And the guy said, no. She said, well, you need to find out about it.
yeah.
And before I left that office, he had an answer. And he said, yep, he's right. He's supposed to be getting discharged. So I spent my last week in the Navy at the Navy hospital in
Hmm.
Long Beach and was discharged from there.
Wow. Yeah. And now, did you go back home after that, or?
Yeah, I went back to Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
was there for 3 months. I was only supposed to be there for, through the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
I had my dad order me a new car. I ordered a 68 Camaro, and it was supposed to be
Ooh.
there when I got out of the service.
Yeah.
General Motors went on and off strike from November through the first part
Oh,
of February.
okay.
And so the car didn't get delivered to me, and I was waiting. The only reason I was waiting for that car was to go back to California because I was going back to live in California.
Oh, okay.
And there used to be able to go to a factory and, when you ordered a car,
Mm-hmm.
you used to be able to go to the factory and pick the car up when it was, when it was released,
Oh,
when it
wow.
was finished, and you could drive your car home, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was waiting. I kept telling him, I want to go and drive the car back. And the guy said,
Yeah.
well, they don't do that anymore. He said, there's a flat fee and they just truck it wherever from wherever and it comes here. So I spent 3 months in my hometown waiting for a car to come to Nebraska that was built 35 miles away from where I was moving in California. It was built in Van Nuys.
Oh, no way. So they shipped it all the way out there for you to
Yeah.
drive it all the way back.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang. But
So,
I bet you like that car though.
oh, I look at, I had that car for 8 years.
Uh-huh.
I bracket raced it at Orange County Raceway on Wednesday nights and Saturday nights,
Uh-huh.
drag racing.
Yeah.
And it was a street car. It was my everyday driver. Anyway, I had that car for 8 years, and I decided I was going to sell it. So I pulled all of the high performance stuff off of it, put
Uh-huh.
all of the factory stock stuff back on it that came with it
Right.
that I had kept all those years, and put all that back together. And I sold that car as, basically all original, which it was.
Uh-huh.
Um, I sold it for $3,000, which was almost $1,000 more than I paid for it.
No
And I,
kidding. Wow.
yeah, and this was back in 1975.
Okay.
Yeah, 1975, early 76, late 75, early 76.
Yeah.
And I should have known then that it sold for more than what I paid for it, that something was, possibly going to change on that. Well, looking around for a 68 Camaro today,
Oh,
they're few and far between. You can
yeah.
find 67s, you can find 69s, but 68s, for whatever reason,
They didn't make
they're
as many
scarce.
or
I don't know what the actual, production run was or that,
yeah.
but there was very few differences between them and the 67,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
and it was mainly cosmetic.
Yeah.
But you can't find the 67 basically had a round turn signal in the front grille.
Okay.
The 68 had an oval looking turn signal. And from
Yeah.
a distance, that's the only physical difference in those cars.
No kidding.
And
Wow.
some minor chrome differences, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't find 68s are hard to find, and they're through the roof price wise. I saw one today
Imagine so.
that a guy has started a partial reconstruction of,
Uh-huh.
and it's basically the body's been cherried out and it's primered, and the interior is still not in it. It's completely gutted in the interior. He wants 21.5 for it.
Oh my God.
Totally restored, drivable down the road. They're worth anywhere from 45 to 75, 85,000.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
yeah, they're
Man, that's what we need to get into right there.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Oh man. So you went back to San Diego for college, right?
No, I went back to Orange County. I moved to Orange County.
Oh, Orange County. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Orange County. I went to Santa Ana Junior College
Mm-hmm.
for a couple of years. Decided college wasn't my thing, and I went to work for a sporting goods company.
Oh, okay.
Got into retail, and later on in life, I wound up involved in foreign auto parts, and I had a foreign auto parts business in Santa Maria, California for about 17 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. Man, that's
And
pretty cool. Now, I imagine, especially in California, you probably had a lot of business out there with
yeah,
foreign cars.
we did, but the thing is the thing that happened is that when we first opened our foreign auto parts business, we were strictly foreign autos, and that was
Uh-huh.
it.
Right.
We didn't do Chevy or Ford parts or any of that stuff. Well, all of the American dealerships were strictly into Ford and Chevy, and didn't really carry much in the way of foreign auto parts, and they
Mm-hmm.
wound up anything they needed for foreign auto parts they would order. Well,
Mm-hmm.
we were right there with them. So initially we had a killer business going. We did really well.
Mm-hmm.
But then the domestic auto parts stores started carrying foreign auto parts, and pretty much
Yeah.
we rode a dinosaur into the ground.
Okay. So you were kind of the I guess the before all the auto parts stores and all that stuff really took off. That's
Yeah,
you guys were
yeah,
doing really well with it. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And and you said you did that for how long?
About 17 years.
17 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We wound up
Now
we
you
wound up with we started with one store. My business partner and I had one store
uh-huh.
and one delivery truck, and we wound up with two stores, four employees, and three delivery trucks.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we had a good business for quite a while, and then it just slowly died,
Yeah.
and there was no way to change it.
Mm-hmm.
It just kept, no matter what we did, it just did not get better. So
Oh wow.
reached a point where we said, hey, this isn't working. We need to do something else. So
Right. And then now what happened? What did you do after that?
um, I drove a school bus for about
Okay.
7 years. And then I went into real estate and was in real estate business for
Very
about 10
nice.
for about 10 years.
Okay.
And that was all in California. We wound up moving back. We moved to Oklahoma because my stepdaughter had moved here, and
Okay.
she had her only grandchild.
Ah,
So
yeah.
we had a grandson in Oklahoma, and the real estate business was taking a dive in 2006 in
Mm-hmm.
California. So we packed up and moved to Oklahoma, and
Wow.
we've been here ever since.
Now, how do you like Oklahoma in comparison to California when you were out there?
I love it. Absolutely love
Yeah.
it. My daughter has a very lucrative uh, title business. She handles
Okay.
escrows, titles and escrows.
Yeah.
Anyway, she called me one day and she said, "Hey, she said, you're not employed anymore. You're retired." She says, "Find me a piece of land that someday I can put horses on." I said, "Okay." Well, I found 16 acres that had a house built, a 3,000 square foot home,
Uh-huh.
and showed it to her. I had texted the guy because it had been on and off the market. I found it I found it on Google, and it
Okay.
had been for sale by owner for several years.
Yeah.
And I sent this guy his information was online, so I sent him an email and said, is this property? Do you still own this property? And are you still interested in selling it?
Mm-hmm.
And I got a text back or a message back from him that night, and he said yes and yes. And turned out it
Okay.
belonged to a doctor who originally had the property built and lived here. And then he got a job in Oklahoma City. So
Mm-hmm.
he hated leaving, but he had to move to Oklahoma City. So he had it rented out off and on for about 4 years before we found
Oh
it.
wow. No kidding.
And
Wow.
yeah, my daughter wound up buying it. And it's, like I said, it's got a 3,000 square foot house with 16 acres of ground. And
Very nice.
we bought 2.5 acres from her and built her own house on that 2.5 acres that's part of that 16 acre parcel.
Yeah. Very nice.
So
I
yeah,
like it.
yeah,
And
peaceful. It's peaceful. It's quiet.
yeah. Well, you're not in the city. You're out in the country.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I I prefer the country instead of the city myself, but
yeah, yeah.
and now how did you get involved with Marine Corps League?
Before I left California, I had I had a client that was a retired Marine gunnery sergeant,
Okay.
and he got me involved in Marine Corps League on the West Coast. And so I joined the Marine Corps League out there. And then when
Hmm.
we moved back here, I tried finding a Marine Corps League unit here and couldn't find any information on it. And then I ran into somebody and said, "Oh, you need to join our group." I said, "What group's that?" It's Marine Corps League. I said, "They're
Hmm.
here?" He goes, "Yeah." So I found out, oh yeah, and it was at that time it was a brand new chapter basically that had gotten started.
Yeah.
So I joined the Marine
Wow.
Corps League here in Lawton, Oklahoma, and
Hmm.
been doing it ever since.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. And now how many years total have you been a member?
Since 2000, probably 20 years. 2005, I
Oh,
think, is
wow.
when I joined the Marine Corps League in California.
Okay. Wow, 20 years. And now I'm assuming you've held different positions and everything within the Marine Corps League.
Yeah, I did. In fact, I just bought a patch that said, "Yes, I've done all of it."
I've done them all.
Junior vice, senior vice, and then commandant,
Yeah.
and currently past commandant, current commandant.
Oh,
So
wow.
I
Okay.
just got reelected to commandant again.
Nice. All right. I like it.
So yeah.
Well, shoot, it's been great hearing your story. Thanks for coming on and doing this. Is there anything else that you want to cover that maybe we didn't talk about?
Not that I'm aware of. Well, maybe one.
Okay, go ahead.
When I was with HMM 163 for
Hmm.
the last 60 to 75 days that I was with that squadron,
Hmm.
I was the senior corpsman. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
as far as I know, I'm the only E4 senior corpsman that ever. I'm the only E4 that was ever a senior corpsman in a combat squadron in Vietnam. I
No
could be
kidding.
wrong, but I've never heard of another one.
Wow.
And
That's
when
really
I
cool.
that last 30 days that I was flying, they were sending up E5s and E6s and E7s to replace me, find a replacement for me.
Yeah.
And it took them several guys before they finally found an E6 that stuck it out.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
These guys would come up and they were coming up out of Da Nang and out of, Marble Mountain, and they had
Uh-huh.
not really flown a lot of combat. And by then, up on the DMZ, it was pretty hairy flying.
Yeah.
And these
Yeah.
guys, and flight duty was voluntary. So these guys
Oh,
would
I
come
see.
up and fly gung ho and fly a couple of missions and get all shot up on one of those missions, and they'd come back and dump the gear, and they were headed back to Marble Mountain. They weren't having any part of it. So
Wow. Well, at least they found you a replacement
yeah,
eventually, you know?
yeah, they did.
Yeah. Wow. That's pretty wild. Well, I have these rapid fire questions as we approach the end of the podcast. I always shoot out these rapid fire questions, and it's a good time if you're ready to do that.
Sure.
All right. What is your proudest military moment?
Probably the bond between my dad and I when I came home.
Ooh, that was good. Yeah.
My dad was my hero my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And his relationship and my relationship completely changed when I came home from Vietnam and got out of the service. That was probably the most defining point in my life as an adult. My
Wow.
dad changed. We were no longer father son.
Mm-hmm.
We were like buddies. And
Wow.
the only
That's
thing I can
awesome.
attribute it to is combat. Both of us
Yeah.
had survived combat.
Wow. Yeah. Nobody has ever said that one. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. What is your most embarrassing military moment?
Oh God, which one do I want to talk about?
More than one. Okay. Okay.
Well, I went on R&R to Thailand
Uh-huh.
with two pilots from my
Okay.
squadron. And R&R in Thailand was, think it was, I think it was 3 days or 4 days. I can't remember which, but we were there like a week, 8 days
Uh-huh.
when they finally found us. and cuffed us and escorted us all the way back to the CO's office at Fubai.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get captain's mass or any kind of judicial, non-judicial punishment, any of that. We
Yeah.
just we got walked in. I mean, we were in cuffs.
Oh jeez.
They, the CO told them they could unlock the cuffs and let us loose. He'd take it from there. And those guys, the MPs, walked out, and he said, without hesitation, he said, "You guys have got flight duty till I tell you you don't have flight duty."
Yeah.
So we went back and got our flight gear, and we proceeded to
Yeah.
fly. And we flew for a long time,
Yeah.
long
Paying that
time.
one off.
Yeah, about a day and a half, 2 days of nonstop
Yeah.
flight
Oh
status.
jeez. Holy cow.
So
That's a good one. All right, if you could be one military leader for a day, who would that be?
Pete Hegseth,
Ooh,
the
okay.
guy is the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very interesting speech he did with
Yeah.
the all the generals the other day. He did it really well though.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Short and sweet and to the point.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and
As it
here's how
should
it's
be.
gonna be.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
I
Oh
listened
yeah,
to
go ahead.
I listened to that speech,
Uh-huh.
and I replied to one of the deals on I think it was on Getter or Truth Social, I can't remember which, and I said, "Man, I'm 79 years old and a former Vietnam vet." I said I would re-enlist tomorrow just to be in the military with this guy's military.
I would
Yeah,
agree with that, but my only thing is whenever he said you can't have fat generals and things like that, and I thought to myself, yeah, that would be a struggle for me going back right now. Getting
yeah.
rid of my little gut that I got now. Not
Oh,
so sure I'd be ready for it.
I wouldn't survive the first day of retraining and regrouping. It'd
Yeah.
kill me. It would kill me.
uh, let's see. Okay, if you could change one rule in the military, what would it be?
One rule.
Yeah, one rule.
I don't know what that would be.
Mm,
I really don't. Totally disagree with the DEI woke stuff
yeah,
completely. So I guess if anything, it would just completely obliterate that and remove it from the military. There's no room, in my humble opinion, there's no
yeah,
room for that. There's no room for that in the military.
yeah. I hear you.
And when I was
Makes
in the
sense.
military, people didn't care. I don't recall anybody ever caring about what color somebody's skin was that was in a firefight with you,
Yeah, yeah.
or
That
whether
is
they
a
were
true
gay or whether
statement.
they were, transgender, which I never knew anybody like that back then at all.
Yeah, yeah. That's very true though. I mean,
Yeah,
when bullets are flying, it definitely changes perspective on everything. And
yeah.
so, all right. In the zombie apocalypse, what will be your weapon of choice, and what anthem will be playing?
Lee Greenwood's "God Bless America" and give me an AR-15 any day of the week.
Okay, I like it. All right. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
All right. What animal best describes your time in service?
I have a Staffordshire Terrier pit bull, and
Okay.
she's got about the same demeanor towards life that I had while I was in the military.
Yeah. Okay. I
So
like that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good. Uh, knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
under the current administration, yes,
Nice. All
I
right.
would. I really would. And the one thing I would do, well, let's put it this way: I would do whatever I could to keep my grandkids from having to go into combat.
Mm,
And
yeah.
when my dad, the first time and only time that I ever saw my father cry was when I was leaving Denver to go to Vietnam.
Oh wow, yeah.
I had leave before we flew to Travis,
Mm-hmm.
and I was home. And my dad, when we were leaving, my dad was walking me out to the airplane, and he
Mm-hmm.
had his arm around me, and had a hold of my hand, shaking my hand, holding my hand like he would shake it.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying, he said, if there was anything I could do to keep you from seeing what you're going to see in the next 13 months, he said, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Mm.
And that was the first time I ever saw my father cry.
Wow.
And I had no idea why he was doing that or what,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't make any sense to me. But 20 years later, I watched my son graduate from Marine Corps boot camp. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I knew exactly what my dad was looking at.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, that's impactful.
Yeah.
Well, I always give time for words of wisdom here at the end. So this is your time for words of wisdom for all the listeners out there.
Oh my goodness. Keep your powder dry and your weapon well oiled. Just keep your head down. Keep pushing forward.
That's good. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it. Well, thanks for coming on and doing this. I had a good time. Hopefully you enjoyed yourself, but I thought you did really well. So thanks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Then don't leave me now. I'm going to do my outro, so just hang on. But to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. No, Bob cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with, ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, one last time, thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. To all the listeners, stay motivated, change your socks.
No more 22. Honor the journey and finish the fight.